Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome. As you can see, this engine is getting close to starting. It's on the test bench. It's got about 3 litres of oil. It's set up using the original carburetor, the original coil, the original distributor. When I say original, that's the one that it came with, because it was running fine. Now we're going to look at compression testing and fitting the spark plugs. Right, a compression test. Here is a conventional compression tester, which has a rubber seal. This fits, it just screws in until it stops. There we are. Then finish it off. You just spin it over. And there we're getting 12 bar of pressure, which is plenty enough for a petrol engine. Go round and do all 4. So now, having done the compression test, we're now going to fit the spark plugs. This, although it has new AA heads, still has the standard 14mm diameter, 90mm length. Here we are. W8cc's. Bosch. They always say put German plugs on a German engine, but when you look at it, they're made in China. Right, so these, if you have this sort of ignition cap, you unscrew the end. That's the sort that fits in like that. Then little dab of copper grease. Not a lot, just enough. Now, to avoid giving yourself all sorts of grief, look, this is 10mm internal by 16mm external reinforced hose, and it has a bolt that goes all the way down. And then like that, you can wind the spark plug in, all right, and then we just nip it up. When it comes to fitting the plugs, especially on this side, I would suggest that you get yourself a proper box spanner. This is the 16, this is the 14, because the box spanner fits beautifully, right, and you can tighten it up. Whereas with a conventional plug spanner, it doesn't really want to go in, and you're going to end up forcing things. So there we are, like that, makes it nice and easy. And there we go. Okay, so that's now plugs in. The distributor cap is all fine. This is all absolutely as it was before. This is a PowerSpark SVDA, so you have to be most careful to make sure that you get the polarity right on the coil. Because we'd spun this over a few times, there's a bit of petrol in there. Everything else is all right. Now when it starts up, it's going to clatter like Billy-O. You can run it for 20 minutes or so, and it's going to clatter until the hydraulic tappets start to fill up, and then after 20 minutes it'll still be rattling, but we will then be able to adjust the preload to about 1.5 turns. Okay, so proof is in the pudding. A little bit of throttle. we'll let that run now. Ooh, are you going to sit there? So now we've made the engine run, still needs setting up. So we're going to be doing the valve timing. We're going to be doing the valve timing. We're then going to be doing the ignition timing, and then we'll set up the carburetor. Okay, so now we've got to get the engine to top dead center on number 1 plug. Check the height of the piston so that we can then do the preload 1.5 turns on the valve train. So top dead center, plug on number 1. We're going to do number 1 cylinder, and so now by going counterclockwise, we're now on number 1, 4, 3, 2. We're now on number 2 cylinder, which is here. So this is 1, this is 2, so we see if there's any movement, and we test wind those up to contact plus 1.5 turns. There we go, 1.5 turns. Just check these as well while you're at it. Round we go, do the other side. So it's now been running for 20 minutes after having reset the tappets, and it sounds a lot better. We've got 1 bar of pressure, but now the oil is hot. Two and a half bar. Right, I've got this turned down, so it's running at that. And at tick over, we're pulling, but we'll take the tick over up a little bit. Now you see the difference? I'm just moving this a tiny amount. See? If I go too far this way, it will slow right down and die. Right, that's not too bad. Pretty good. 800 and a bit. Fill the fuel tank. Okay. Hardly anything. Lovely. Habits are running right. No oil leaks. So I think we'll pull this one set up, and we'll now use this one to go through all the other distributors and bits and pieces. Gas analyzer runs off its own battery. This is where we want to see it. 13.5. Get the balance about right. We want to see 13.4, 0.2, 13.3, 13.4. The mixture's good, CO is good. Right. That's it.
Okay, so we're now running on a PIC 34-4 with a main jet of 132.5, and I'm using a Power Spark electronic ignition running at about 8 degrees before top dead center. I'm going to have to reduce the advance before it gets sent to Canada in this big box. Because their petrol is of a lower octane rating than in Europe.